You are now listening to the podcast for geeks and the stuff they love, where each week we'll talk about everything from anime to movies, games, and prop collecting with the people who create and love it. I'm Jeromy.
I'm Vinz.
I'm James.
And this is your Geek Fix.
I was actually looking at last night on Amazon, and there is a thing that you can buy that literally you put together a paper airplane, and then there's a small flat device that has two motors on the back, two props. But I don't know how exactly, though, it steers because as far as I can tell, they're stationary props. But when they show the video, this thing's like doing all sorts of stuff. So I don't know if this is a reliable product or not, but I was kind of slightly interested about it. But at the same time, what we want to talk a little bit about today is RCing things, not just plain old, just some things that you also can just buy, but we're going to talk about that. But also, things that you can literally, I think you can RC anything. I mean, truthfully, you can make anything become a radio control. And also some of that radio control frequency has changed over time as well. I just thought we'd talk a little about some of those things. Vince, you'd mentioned also some RC stuff. What are you thinking about RCing?
One of the things I'm trying to build is the ghost trap from Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
is there a pre-made kit for that, or is there something
No.
that is there? What did they use, like a vehicle even for inside the show that they just stuck that trap onto, or what is that?
Well, it's a bit more involved than that. So Ben Eady is the prop master for Afterlife, or at least the person who made like the new prototype packs or helped make them. And the RTV, as they call them, the remote trap vehicle. And most of the parts have been identified. And it's also basically like, buy this €300 chassis, or buy this €300 RC car, and then chop the chassis in half and throw this away, throw this away, throw this away, throw this away, and buy new tires, buy new shocks, buy new everything, buy a new receiver, buy a new antenna. And so it's not really off-the-shelf kind of stuff. So
is the RC still also include opening it? Or yeah, because it looks like that.
Canonically not, but people have figured out how to do it. The guys from Tested, like Sean Charlesworth, he and Adam Savage did a video recently on how to build one. And
really?
Sean is also sharing files for that. But
that's unfair though, because they actually got to see the real thing. They know the guy that built it too.
But still, you have to find the stuff and you have to figure out stuff because it's non-trivial. But of course, non-trivial is one of my hobbies.
That's cool.
So that's one thing. Secondly, so it's based on a Traxxas Stampede 4x4 monster truck kind of thing.
It looks like those kind of wheels. It has the knobby wheels, doesn't it?
Yeah. But that's the fun thing is those wheels are actually like huge. So they're like it's normally I believe it's like normally it's like 1/18th or 1/10th scale car, something like that. And the wheels are made for a car bigger than that, so you have to buy an adapter to put them on. So they're oversized for the truck. And they're really expensive comparatively speaking. So the truck that I bought was cheaper than the wheels that I'm gonna put on it.
Well,
it was like $80. So I'm being transparent here. I bought a 2-wheel drive, not a 4-wheel drive, for $80 used, and with all the troubles that you can have, like screws rattling loose in the differential gearbox, so the wheels don't turn anymore, and I actually bought a different Traxxas car, a Bandit, which is more like a race car, to make a mouse droid from Star Wars.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
That was literally made from an RC car back in the day, the 70s,
Yeah, so a guy on the internet, I forgot his name, but he made like a kit that you can 3D print and basically put on the chassis, and you have a mouse droid. And these things go pretty fast as well, because the RTV car actually can go up to 60 miles an hour or something if you have the brushless motor in there, so it can go on the road and actually drive into the Ecto 1 while it's driving. So, another crazy hobby I'm trying to pick up.
You need some good torque on it. That would be for sure. Typically the old standard with the motors and the controls and so these RC cars is that you'd have one that was turning things this way. So it was turning your axles, turning the wheels, and then the other one that was driving it. Hey, so you had to drive motor with the axle and things that would turn. But 4-wheel drive, that's gonna be a little bit more complicated. It seems like to make it work. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's 2 motors instead of 1. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know.
But it's fun.
I'm in the middle of the project I've been working on. Grabbing something here. The project we've been working on, which I was trying to have done before Christmas, and then I decided I didn't need that kind of stress. But at the same time, to give you an idea, I have 2 of these. This is actually this is a dome that you put on your fence for your dogs to be able to see out the fence.
Okay. That's
but
a niche
it
market.
was the best thing I could find. And surprisingly, there's hair on it, even though I don't have any animals. But it must be my own. But at the same time, this is my dome for my Rick and Morty car that I'm building right now. And so there's 2 of them actually. So there's one on the top, one on the bottom that would be connected because it's a complete ball that's on the center, and then you have the fins that come down on the sides. But I decided I wanted to try and RC control that, which means I needed 1 wheel for the back that turns to control the direction it's going, and then 2 in the front that would be spun, to be able to make it go forward or backward. And the only issue I'm having is,
what motor are you getting for it to go up and down?
Oh, for it to fly. I'm not, but the issue I've got though is I am trying to voice control it. So using my phone, if I say into the phone, protect summer, then the lights will change red on the outside, and the lights on the inside will flash as it says "Protect Summer."
Oh wow!
Nice. So now I'm gonna have to put those parts on the sides. But the issue I'm having is the size of the wheel, because this is 1/6 scale. So I'm having to. I thought it would be a lot easier to get the stuff, so I'm getting this everything that I need, are actually for really large. Setups that you use for remote control planes is actually what I'm using. So
because
anyway,
they have a pre-built model for the RC car, don't they?
For the one for Rick and Morty, they might have a miniature one.
Sure. It'll be tiny. It's not as big.
Yeah. So the issue is how big this is. I'm going to need something that can handle that weight. But then also is big enough I need the wheels to be the right size. These wheels have to be kind of about the size of what we were just talking about. And then, I don't know. It's turning out to be, but in the end, I might dump that for the project, even though I purchased half the stuff. Where's the wheels? I had the wheels sitting here actually, but, anyway, so that's one of the 2. Yeah. Here's also the little, I don't know if you can see it. The little portal gun. Yeah, nice. That's the size right there. But anyway, so yeah, that's something I'm trying to do right now. We talked, James, you and I talked about your RC Daleks, which I happen to have in my own household and filmed and put into there as well, because that's a classic.
Oh yes,
yeah.
if I remember correctly, the ones that I had were 1/8 scale, maybe.
Or that could be about the size. I think that's the size that we have. So they were about the size. Actually, they were the right size for the action figures that they had. In which case, they would be 1/12, because they were 6-inch figures.
I'm fairly sure
right?
It was like.
Oh, yours was the big one.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
both
okay.
the Dalek and the K9, yeah.
Oh, that sounds much bigger. That could be.
I'll have to try and find it at some point.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
I have to try and get it.
The bigger one that I showed, so the video was actually a bank. I didn't, or not bank. It was an alarm. That's what it was. It was actually a alarm for waking you up and things. I didn't realize it until after I put it in the video. My son's like, "No, that one was just a clock." But anyway, yeah, I don't know. There's some cool things out there. I'll show you something here. I'm going to share something with you guys. Let's see here. This part I'll have to edit because I'll have to share. There we go. There we go. Share. So I was looking through. This is on the Autodesk Instructables, and this is by Ken Macon, I think is how you say it. Ken Macon and Circuits. Any rate, he developed this RC car system and gives you every single detail you need to turn your car, your actual car, into an RC car. Just to show you as we're talking about it here. So there it is. There's one. Which you can see if you look down at the gear shift, which I personally I don't know. I think it's got to be easier to do more another type of automatic a little bit easier. But so basically, it just pulls and pushes that gear shift forward and backward, and then he's got this this system that he's hooked up to the steering wheel as well. I can't see what's hooked up to the pedals, but everything is on here. And so he goes forward, and then he also shows that you can pop it into reverse and go backward.
Wow.
And so, and as you can see, so here's what the remote control looks like that he's using, which is kind of a standard one. That's the same as you'd also use for RC planes and things.
Yeah.
But so kind of, more of a basic system. Oh, look, he's got another video here. Let's check that one out. Yeah, there it is. It's going backward. He put it in reverse. And the sound that you're hearing is it's making this what'd you call it earlier, Vinz? The kind of like a whining sound is the motor moving backward and forward. But at the same time, yeah, that's pretty impressive. So literally, if you got the will, you could go on here. Oh, look, there's the guy. You could go on there and you can make. Oh, he can even start it remotely. That's not too big of a deal. Where I live, you have to have a remote start.
It's such a video game concept, though.
Oh, totally. Or a terrorist one.
I was just about to say, there's some Command and Conquer vibes here.
I can see why this would be illegal too. Like, but wouldn't it be cool to like drive it downtown or something using a camera?
Make it voice controlled, and then it doesn't register the stop command.
Yeah. He looks like he must have a camera in the back though. So I don't know if he can actually see through that himself, but I think he's doing this all just from perspective view. Yeah. I don't know how close he has to be to it to control it, but
there's so many ways that you can improve upon that. Like, as you say, like implementing cameras and sensors, like for proximity sensors and so on and so on.
Yeah, to make it automatically stop. I also saw. I'm sure everybody's seen the video. Have you ever seen the video of the guy that's driving? I think it's just a joke, but shows somebody's driving and they're trying to explain the auto driving system and how it can identify people and the colors of cars around them and everything else. And then it shows an elderly woman walking with a walker in front of the car. Yeah. You seen that one? And then he looks down and to show the screen and you see this car coming.
Wow.
That's funny stuff. But I mean, like but the funny thing is the technology is there now to literally do all those things. I mean, you could make it fully automated and have it auto drive and things. But also some things have kind of changed as far as our frequencies go. Back in the day, this is something Chris actually sent me this one, this sonic screwdriver, but so this is all IR, right? Control, which 10 years ago would have been fine, because it's a universal remote is what this is. And so I can, you can go up to turn on your TV or push or change the channel, turning it and things like that, which is cool. But, over time, most things, including our TVs, don't really use IR anymore. It's other types of signals that they'll use, or Bluetooth, things like that. And I don't know. What do you think the benefits are of using of using other signals, like a Bluetooth signal, to be able to control something, remote control something, which is, I think, how my R2 that I'm building right now, that's how that's actually controlled, using an app on the phone. It's actually a Bluetooth signal that would control it. So that kind of makes sense because my phone doesn't use IR anymore like my Note 8 did. But, and it also doesn't explode. But fair enough.
That was a feature.
Yeah, it's a feature. What are some things? I mean, I know you guys have experimented with some other technologies. James, you've demonstrated your ability for developing apps, or at least editing in them as well. I mean, what do you think the possibilities are? If you could, what are some things you can think of that you would go back and remote control or yeah.
Well, apart from, like, speaking of, like, when I would have been a lot younger, like, any action figure, any toy, any whatever, and just being able to add so much more functionality, like auto movement, and it would just add hours upon hours of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked a little bit about the Transformer last time that can self-transform and things. For example. Yeah, that'd be cool. I could imagine a lot of my toys that would have been fun to make remote controlled, but even for ease of use these days, what are some things that you can think of? I know we're going to be doing a home automation episode pretty much right after this, but like, what are some things you can think of that outside your car that you would,
like, specifically RC? Like, I know from, like, loads of old TV shows or movies and stuff, you typically see young kids playing with like already existing RC cars to sort of drive around a little plate so that you can go into the kitchen, pick up some food, and then drive it back without actually having to. I just think that stuff like that, just stuff that allows you to be able to just sit and relax, like maybe even RCing a recliner chair, just so that you can get around the house.
Driving around. I've actually seen somebody do something like it. Was I don't know if it was a recliner or if it was a couch. Somebody drove around downtown New York and they had a TV in front of them too. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I think they use the technology similar to the scooters, like, because you've got scooters that are also remote controlled, depending on how fast you want them to go. I think it's literally just using that inside of or something similar to that inside the sofa. Yeah. But no, I have seen
the remote control that looked like it was for the TV was actually making the thing drive around. That'd be pretty fun. It's really a gimmick, but gimmicks are great. You need at least one gimmick, at least during college or something like that. You got to do something like that.
Yeah. So, well, until recently, or at least I'm still officially part of it, but there's a after-hours work group at my job that uses robotics technology to make a robot that can grab coffee for us from the machine.
That's cool.
Since we're a pretty high-tech company, we have a lot of high-tech stuff, and it also, well, I'm not taking any credit because I'm just part of it because of the fact that I built other kind of robots. But it used to be like every Wednesday, I believe, after work, you could go in a separate robotics lab and build on it and work on it. Actually set up the 3D printer that allowed them to 3D print parts for it. So they have a actual mechanical arm, like a human arm actuated, that will be put on that robot to grab a cup of coffee, which is based on...
that could have so many implications.
Going back to go back to the Rick and Morty reference earlier. It's very similar in what is my purpose? No, you just grab coffee.
You grab coffee.
You do butter. Yeah.
So it's called Marvin after the paranoid android from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And
also depressed.
But it's I'm not really involved in it, but it uses quite state-of-the-art technology. Like it has an Intel Edison running it, I believe, and there's also some AI involved, and it was able to drive autonomously in one of our buildings, not bumping into stuff. We also have autonomous cleaners now that do the same, like the polishing machines
That's
for
cool
the
for
floors.
the floor and stuff.
Yeah, we have those as
So
well.
there's no Zamboni guy that rides around.
No, but no one hitting Hawkeye by accident.
Yeah. That's funny.
But I mean, we work in a logistics company, so what they call is AGV, is automated guided vehicles, which are like robots that automatically pick up and store pallets. So it's basically a forklift without a driver that can automatically retrieve and store pallets. So we have the technology and the talent available, so these people do this after hours. So that was one of the gimmicks we had was, get coffee. One of the funny things we joked about is, okay, well, first we started off with a coffee trebuchet. But that didn't work.
Like pushing it around.
Don't know why.
Then we tried drones, which also didn't work. So
no.
No, that's
airdropping coffee.
We never did that. But just imagine that you had the flying drones filled with hot coffee flying across your head.
There'd be a lot of lawsuits opening up right there.
Jeez. So, but that's some people are still actively working on that. I'm not so much involved anymore because I'm working on R2D2 and other stuff at home. Which
is also an RC situation, is it not?
Well, I built a mini RC car, mini RC R6 unit for a friend of mine, which sorry, Adam, I still have to send you over some goodies for your wedding. But one of the gifts was this home built R6 unit with remote control stuff. But I can't get it to host a web server so that you could log in with your phone and control it via your phone. I can get it to work with a receiver and everything, but sending it to the UK is difficult because all the batteries inside, and so I was still working on that last year. But it kind of got stuck in limbo.
So what's interesting to me is all these with all these drones and things, I had a device that seems more realistic to do this with, but I have a robot that's over here that has a camera on it that basically I can log into it from my work, and I could drive it around my house and check on the kids and communicate through. So I got it just as the pandemic was kind of kicking in, but
it's like a Segway with
Wi-Fi,
iPad,
so it's all Wi-Fi. Well, it's about this wide and about this tall, and it drives onto, when its battery gets low, it goes back to its charging station. And I got it for pretty cheap, but the downside to it is it won't work with all phones. So the newer the phone, the less it seemed to work with it. But it's Wi-Fi based, so of course it's using your Wi-Fi inside your house, and then you're porting in basically. But I've noticed a lot of the drones that are out there that I've looked at, a couple that we bought and things like that, they seem to be pretty Wi-Fi driven, which doesn't seem like a very good signal to me to be trying to fly something around, especially when the price point of the vehicle goes up. You're like, do I want my $12,000 drone to be controlled by Wi-Fi?
Well, it goes through walls and everything. I guess. Regular radio needs line of sight to work.
And Bluetooth isn't that great.
Oh man, I don't know. There's one there's a really cool drone that's out there that's for military, and it can shoot pictures, really high definition pictures.
It can shoot
several miles away. You can probably shoot. It's a true military. No, I've seen a couple of YouTubers that have purchased the thing though, but I mean, it does these high definition films and can shoot really long distance films and things. But at the same time, again, it's Wi-Fi based, but they're flying it quite a distance away. And I know that they kind of kick over when they know that they've lost their signal. They usually kick over and find their way back. They just follow the same path backward.
But still, some of these I think also have integrated intelligence or whatever, that if it does disconnect, it tries to find the signal, or automatically either tries to float down softly or come back, or
and also I mean 4G is really fast nowadays. I mean, putting a 4G router on a drone and it's as internet, it might be delayed, but you can still, while you're on the Wi-Fi, you can still send words.
Is that the one that travels farther though, or is it your 2.0s that tend to travel farther?
I have no idea. One of the drones I had with a camera would just, with one gust of wind, would just deviate like 6 meters from whatever. So It flew up once and it fell down once.
And it never came down.
It never came down.
I think that's part
It's
of
still
owning
flying.
a drone. Is that it will crash and you will be buying parts. Like just get a bunch of those motors, those precious motors, and just be prepared. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm curious to hear what the audience has, what they've got at home, what they've tried, what they're building that can be controlled by some type of Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or traditional radio signals or infrared. Let us know. We'd love to hear more about it. If you've enjoyed this podcast and want more, stay tuned for that. Also, check out our channel and join the community on YouTube that goes by the same name, Your Geek Fix. Be sure to check out Vinz on Twitter at MassiveDMG_ and on his YouTube channel, MassiveDMG. Check out James at Mr. Malto4 on Instagram and on the Replica Prop Forum. We also want to hear from you, so be sure to send your stories, questions, and other projects to yourgeekfix@gmail.com. In the meantime, this has been Your Geek Fix.